Is this the beginning of the end of the big crude oil rally? Nah.
Uh, it's interesting. It could well be. It may go higher. I think, we're certainly living in uncertain times. Production of oil is literally on a plateau. Demand is still surging in parts of the world such as China, Brazil, India and Russia, as well as, and certainly the people in OPEC are doing quite well, and their demand for oil is also increasing. So literally you've got demand being sort of calmed down in OECD countries as they adjust to these higher oil prices, but also this rampant growth in other countries. And against supply, it could well go down for a little bit. It could well go up. I mean, we're now seeing $200 oil as a possibility. Plenty of companies, plenty of organisations around the world are starting to realise that $200, it may be next year, it may be this year, it could be 2 or 3 years. So it's time now to start planning for it.
Wouldn't the world end as we know it at 200? I mean, that's the kind of commentaries, that's the kind of op-eds that they're filing these days.
Look, it will change. It's going to create us some industries. Nobody should think that we're going to get out of it without having problems. But I don't think the world will end. It may end for some businesses, but I mean, we've seen oil prices high before. But it's how we actually deal with it and start putting in mitigation steps so that we get away from oil and diversify our economies to use less oil. Put it this way, if you don't use oil, $300, $400 really doesn't matter to you if you're not vulnerable to the effects of oil. If you are, then it will be a problem. So what we're saying to everybody is, we're probably at peak now. It's time to start changing our investment strategies around it. I heard yesterday that the post office here is now talking about putting mail back on trains and shipping it by sea because of climate change and also because of the high oil prices. So we're starting to see the people starting to change their methods of investment, and these are all good signs. I don't think we should see it as the end of the world at 200. If it goes higher, then it certainly wasn't the end of the world. I think we need to accept.
Except go ahead.
I think we just need to accept that we are living in, the world is very different to what it's been, and we need to start adjusting accordingly.
I've been seeing fewer cars in the streets in my neighborhood, and that's not a bad thing, although I'm getting nailed to the pump, and that's the flip side of the equation. You got a whole bunch of politicians at the G8, making noise about what they think needs to be done. Berlusconi was saying maybe that the funds or deposits to trade oil futures should be raised to discourage speculation. I think a lot of people are have mislabeled speculation versus manipulation. And was it Iran saying that if Israel attacks us and fires missiles, oil prices are going to jack up or something like that? Is this all noise, or are these warnings from the market that we need to heed?
I think anybody. I think there's a lot of things. I think people are looking for easy answers to our problems. Certainly, if we start messing with Iran, they're not going to sit back. I think that's an issue that needs to be discussed at a political level, and a sensible outlook needs to be found for that. But I think really we should look at the fundamentals. This was a commodity that was, for many years, was at a very low price. Now it looks like it's changed dramatically, and that's what we've been saying. And as far as that, we just need to get on with the business of making those adjustments. I mean, you go to parts of Europe, people ride bikes, they take the train. It's a normal part of life. You don't see them, walking around complaining. If you're riding your bike to work, you don't really care how much it is at the gas pump.
David,